All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our Rotary Celebration of Service this week. Thank you all for being here, and I'm sorry you're not all on the beach or doing something for spring break. I'm here too, so I'm not doing that either. But my name is Lauren Snyder, president of this club. It's an honor to be here and see you all this afternoon. I want to thank Rex for greeting us on our way in. Rex, thanks for greeting us, and then Sarah Laughlin for capturing the meeting for our roundabout report. Also, want to invite Glenn up to do our pledge and reflection. And it looks like we got a flag, so Glenn will be able to do that. So, all right, Glenn.
Thank you. If you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. I was toiling over a reflection to share with you, and had some thoughts jotted down, but went to a scout troop meeting last night, and the Scout Master's Minute at the end was appropriate, so I thought I would just pass on some scouting values to you. Life isn't about keeping score. It's not about how many friends you have or how accepted you are. It's not what your plans are this weekend or if you have none. It's not who your family is, how much money you have, or what kind of car you drive. It's not how handsome or ugly you are, what clothes or shoes, or what kind of music that you listen to. It's not if your hair is black, red, blonde, or brown, if your skin is too light or too dark. It's not about how smart you are, or how smart everyone thinks that you are. It's not what clubs you're in, or what is your sport. Life is not about those things. Life is about choices. It's about who you make happy. It's about kindness. It's about generosity. It's about holding and sharing trust. It's about friendship. It's about faith, integrity, and character. And most of all, it's about using your life to touch other people's hearts in such a way that could have never occurred alone. That's what life is all about. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Glenn. Appreciate that. Wonderful reflection to start our day, I guess, start our afternoons. I also want to invite Liz Feidel up to introduce. We have several guests today. So, 7? 11. Okay. Thank goodness you're all here. You've been a sparse populace. Liz.
Thank you. It's my honor to introduce the guest today, one who is very special to me. You'll see in a minute. We have 11 guests. So I'll start right off with grandson Mitchell Powell, 7-year-old grandson. Please give him a hand. All right, and then the rest of you that are here, I presume, could be Rotarians, or if not, you could be very shortly. I'll introduce the rest of them. So if you want to be are interested in Rotary, please see someone at your table, or maybe Natalie at the back. We'd love to have you join. So we have Celeste McGregor, who's a guest of Erin Davis. She's a retired social worker. And Michael McGregor, also a guest of Erin Davis, retired IU faculty. Then Aaron gets the prize again. He has Donna Newbro. Then we'll move on to Ashley Sullivan, who has a guest, Sarah Jameson. She's also Ashley's sister. She's the head student advisor at CIP. Next, we have a guest of Kyla Cox Deckard. It's Jane Rogan, and Jane is the IU Center for Rural Engagement. Then we have 3 guests of Jeff Cannon, and they are Angie Cannon, Abby Cannon, and Emma Cannon. And we have a Sunrise Rotarian with us, and I understand there's a note here that says she'll be joining our club, Sandy Keller. Then Alon Bacher has a guest, Nathan Fisher, I believe, from the Jacobs School of Music. Thank you, and please see any of us if you're interested in Rotary.
Thank you very much, Liz, and thank you all for being here and joining us today. All right, now just kind of our Rotary family update. I hope some of you saw this, but the former Herald Times editor, Bob Zaltzberg, was awarded the IU Thomas Hart Benton Medallion just recently. That was announced, so congratulations to Bob. I believe he's out of town, but want to make sure that we recognize Bob for that. Also, on the other side of things, unfortunately, Charlotte Zitlow had fallen and broke her arm. So she was doing so well and then fell and broke her arm. So please continue to keep Charlotte in her thoughts as she continues to try and recover. Our birthdays, Rex, he greeted us, and it's his birthday tomorrow on the 13th. So Rex, happy birthday to you. And Scott Shackelford on the 16th. So wish them a happy birthday on the 16th. Membership anniversaries, Jim Capshew, 1 year, Beth Haler, 7 years, and Dick Rose, 17 years. So a few quick announcements. Just keep on your calendars, keep in mind the It Takes a Village, the resource fair for parents, infants, and toddlers on Saturday, May 18th. Our Lunch Buddy program for the third quarter, get that done by the end of March and send a note to Natalie letting you know you did that and get a makeup. Our March service opportunity, we still need one. So if anybody has an opportunity where they're going to be serving, or Sarah, if we have something at Teachers Warehouse where we can get out and help in some capacity, we need a service opportunity for March. So let me know if you have one. Also, our Myanmar water project, we've funded that, we sent the money, and now we need to pay ourselves back and fill up the well, so to speak. And I neglected to mention last week, how can you contribute? Well, if you would like the tax deduction side of things, we do have our Bloomington Rotary Foundation, which we can serve as a pass-through to get the deduction. If you want to just make a direct contribution and aren't worried about the deduction on the tax side of things, you can just make a check out to the Bloomington Rotary Club, and we'll take care of all the accounting. I say will. Natalie will take care of all the accounting of that. So definitely want to get that funded between myself and Aaron's Rotary years, which will be transitioning that June and July. So any questions there? Awesome cause, terrifying facts about water and sanitation throughout our world today. All right, now, Susie, I think you're here. Susie is here, and she's happy, and she's got $1 for Happy Dollars. She's got 5.
4 of them are to thank Gene Emery for covering for me for the past 2 weeks. And he don't want. And Michael, all right, you guys put him up, right? And that remaining $1 is, I'm so happy to see Mike and Celeste Forever here, and they have the same. So, here we go.
All right.
We all know spring break, and most of the young people have gone up to warmer climates, but there are a lot of young people, and some adults that are doing service projects during the spring break. I mentioned some of them in the paper, and I want to commend those people that are doing service for us during spring break.
Absolutely. Judy, or Jean, or Liz.
I got high five. You want to be a grandma to a grandson, don't you? And I have most fun going to the middle today. I think it's great to bring in Mr. Rotary, and he's an exemplary example of the future of hearing.
Awesome.
Here, and also Steve and Radcliffe played in the Seymour tournament for regionals. They won 1 of the 2 games, but they did very well for the whole season.
Outstanding. Oh, Susie, stay at that table. Judy.
That's all right, I'm getting my exercise. Well, on Sunday, I received a long-distance telephone call from Brazil, South America, telling me that Paul Gargiato, who I hope some of you remember as a youth exchange student, is coming back for a visit with us. So it's very exciting to have young people return and remember us and want to come back and visit.
Awesome.
I started a service project
Okay.
at Teachers Warehouse. So I'm happy. Because on March 30th, it's sometime during the fall, there's 5 Saturdays in the month. And the Teachers Warehouse board covers the 5th
Saturday. As you know, our club regularly covers the second Saturday of the month. Other Rotary clubs cover other weeks. The Old and Green County teachers, retired teachers cover a week, but the fifth week is the board of teachers of the house. And I won't be able to be there on the third day. So what we could use is a few Bloomington Rotary volunteers to help the board cover that busy Saturday. It will be busy on that week. So there you go.
I did not take notes. Will you send me an email on that?
I'll put it in the roundabout.
Put it in the roundabout. There you go. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, Art.
I just love being grandparent.
Thank you.
And we had home up until a couple weeks ago before we were listening to go see him this last weekend. We were prepared to get on. He called us and said, "Don't come up, I've got a lot of pieces." So they're still.
There's Julia.
Okay, I have, first of all, $1 from me for being so excited that Joy is starting work at Meadowood tomorrow, and then another $1 on behalf of the staff of the nursing home at Meadowood, who's so excited that Joy's coming.
Lynn.
I'm happy to be here 2 weeks in a row, because that hasn't happened in a while.
We're happy to have you 2 weeks in a row. Sally.
And I'm just really happy to have Jeff Cannon and his wonderful family here, even though I'm taking up his valuable time doing a happy.
No, absolutely. Glenda.
We were gone last week, and when I got home, I had 2 pieces of information in the mail that I wanted to share with you. One is, some of the rest of you may have gotten this same thank you note, but I got a thank you note on behalf of the teachers who use Teachers Warehouse. This one's from Eastern Green, and the lady sent information about the project they were doing, the things they picked up, and pictures of how the students use the material from Teachers Warehouse. So I'll put that in the back if you want to look at it on the way out. And secondly, I didn't know how many of you remember Judy Lucas, who is an honorary member of our club because her husband was a past president of our club, and she's been an honorary member since he died, and that's been nearly 20 years ago. So, but she was honored for her years of service at the community kitchen, and I thought, even though she doesn't come regularly, that we should recognize her work as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, Glenda. Can you make change? I want to give $6 because our little man had a 6-month checkup this morning, and he's great, 50 percentile and everything, just right in the middle where we want him to be. But pediatrician said all is really good, and Coleman is not struggling to eat. So, thank you. All right. With no further ado, I want to invite Byron Benger up to introduce our program for the day. Byron.
Thank you. It was about 18 or 19 years ago that I was a teaching associate in the Department of Religious Studies, working in a class where a new student arrived among the other 70 to 120. I don't remember how many this was, a large lecture class. And he's the only student I remember from that class. He was a non-traditional student, and he was probably the best student in the class by far. He certainly stood out. His name was Jeff Cannon. He's here today to present our program. Jeff has an interesting story. He's a singer-songwriter who comes to us with this unusual story and background preceding his time here. And since he's been here, by the way, he's gotten a master's in journalism and a PhD in mass communications, and he's a lecturer at the Kelley School of Business. But he has at various times enjoyed national success as a contemporary folk touring artist, as a rock musician, as a choral and opera singer, as a producer, a community arts organizer, and even as a street performer in Boston and Harvard Square. Wearing other hats, he has also been a long-time hotel manager, a journalist, and an ethnographer. Jeff toured the country's folk music clubs and festivals for many years, sharing his music and stories.
which have been heard on many hundreds of acoustic radio programs around the world. In 1996, Jeff's music led him to Bloomington on tour, and shortly thereafter, he relocated here from Boston. He stopped touring full-time nationally in 2004 when he began teaching journalism at IU, and he has been here ever since, first at what is now the Media School for 9 years, for the last 6 years as a full-time communications lecturer at Kelly. In 2018, Jeff was commissioned as the composer of the Bloomington Community Song in honor of the city's bicentennial. His composition, titled Ride, was released in November. The song celebrates Bloomington as a marvelously fertile place where tradition and progress remain in productive tension. And Jeff adds, as it should be. With no further ado, please welcome Jeff Dacanon, who will perform Ride and tell us some of his story. Jeff?
When you hear it put like that, it just makes you know how old you are. And yesterday, in fact, I turned 60, and it was nothing. Let me tell you how I did it. I just kept breathing. But I can't tell you how proud I am and happy and thrilled I am today to be in a room of a bunch of people who might be older than me. So that's, and if I had known, I would have brought a stack of bills for all of those people who are older than me today. So. I'm just kidding, of course. Get my phone out of my pocket here. Self-adjusted. I guess an appropriate starting point is I want to kind of break down the wall between performer and audience, which I find almost useless at this point. The truth of it is that this room is probably filled with people who are artists and performers of various kinds, and certainly creative people. It's certainly filled with creative people of all sorts who take what they were given and try and make something that they can give to other people and hopefully enrich their lives and kind of make things a little better than the way they found it. And of course, that's what artists try and do, and we all are, in fact, that. And so I want to acknowledge that in the first place and just say, this is how I view art and production. I learned that at a very young age. My dad was the chaplain at Columbia University during its very turbulent times in the 60s. And the chaplaincy at Columbia was a high institution in the university's original order. The chaplain was responsible, since its inception, since the late 1600s, the chaplain was responsible for all inner life, social life on the campus. And so, but my dad was a young radical. When he took over the chaplaincy in the early 60s, he was looking to disrupt all of it. And in fact, so much so, he was an interesting guy, so much so that in fact his main act in his last 3 or 4 years was to work his butt off to literally dismantle the chaplaincy, and he succeeded in doing that. And I mean purposefully so, not just, saying, getting tossed out. No, that he actually dismantled the office. He thought it was archaic and outdated, and in fact he led a commission to do that. So kind of a guy blows up his own job, but that says a lot about my dad, but also says a lot about the way that I see life and art and what we do. We make things up. We make things for people that they use, hopefully, to move forward. So whether that's blowing things up or just keeping progress going, that's what I think artists do, and that's what I try and do. I'm blessed, obviously, to be a teacher now and not to be on the road all the time, which allowed me to be around when my kids were growing and so forth. I'm going to play you a couple songs. I'm going to lead to this Bloomington song, tell you about this process, which I just found awesome. And I'm going to throw some shout outs to a few people here in the process of doing that. This project was an amazing undertaking. most community art projects, I think it's fair to say, maybe I'm wrong, but I think most community art projects kind of skew toward either other kinds of performing arts, or maybe particularly visual arts, public sculptures and things like that. It's hard to do with music, right? It's harder to create something. So it was bold to say, let's do something where we get involved with music at this level and create a work that then has a life of its own. And that's in fact what the Arts Commission did, and I'll come back to that, just talking about that in process in a few minutes. But I spoke of Columbia because it taught me a lot being around that environment. My dad started a coffee house there called the CU Postscript, which he named after Kierkegaard's concluding unscientific postscript, but he loved the fact that CU stood for Columbia University. This coffee house has been going since 1963, still going today. I go back and play there from time to time, and it was in this place from age 4 on that I would go every Friday and Saturday night. Had to, but I loved it, of course, where I got the sense of this face-to-face art form, which of the time was very disruptive. Folk music, now we think about it as the old folks' music, right? But the folk music was really a disruptive form, a rebirthing of traditional country and African American, even some slave musics that were being brought together into this kind of new disruptive form. I love that. I love that about the form. I love that it's real, that people stand before you and share with you songs. I love the sing-along factor of it. I loved all of it. So my dad gave that to me, and that's something I lost him a few years ago. We all did. And I'm going to move over here.
And in the process, lost a lot. When he went, it was kind of it was ugly. He had a lot of cancers, and he got kind of nasty, and it was really a tough kind of ending. I don't know if it's possible to reduce the volume on this just a little bit. It's a little hot. Is there a volume switch on this? Maybe, I'm not sure. But I always thought when he went, that I would think, oh, he'll be around. I'll just feel him there all the time. That's kind of my politics of it, right? That's how I think about death. I think we all hope that, and there's a sense that a lot of us really believe that. I certainly do. And when he went, there was nothing. It was just a hard end, and there was nothing. And then he was gone. And that left, a hole. That much better. That's great. Like that. Left a big hole. And I wrestled with that for a long time. One day I was out playing golf, and about a year and a half after he passed, maybe just a little up from there. Maybe a little up from there. Yeah? Great. Thank you. So, and there he was. Suddenly I could hear him. I could hear you talking to me, making comments on everything I did. You yanked your left side out there, you hooked the, I could just hear him. And it's been that way ever since he was there. And so, there's a psychological phenomenon called pareidolia, which is the tendency of humans to see in inanimate things, human action, to see faces in the clouds and that sort of thing. So I wrote this song as a little song of forgiveness. I thought it would be a nice way to get started. It's a brand new one. So. Storm clouds on a windward sky rolled out like searching eyes to find the one they lost and make it right. And oh, how I saw your hand reach out to understand and to write the words to bring us sleep tonight. Advice from a setting sun, and all that we'd ever done. Once I took the clearer view, some days I would promise true. It takes just one sign to turn this boat around. I'll ride the first wave home. I'll ride the first wave home. You say goodbye with a vengeance, shred all your ribbons and your ties. But not me, I long for another. Give me this paradolic ride one more time. See, I don't mind the winds of time if I can see your face in my mind. You said goodbye with a vengeance, shred all your ribbons and your ties. But not me, I long for another. Give me this paradolic ride one more time. See, I don't mind the winds of time if I can hear your voice one more time. Music is good. We feel like that's such a heavy thing to lay down on you guys, but I wanted to sort of bring something, you know, real, but I'm going to take it to a little lighter level here. So my daughter Emma was here. I was got the little camera here. A few years ago, can I share this? Is that okay? You sure? Okay. A couple years ago, she had her first really serious boyfriend, a really serious breakup, and how do I put it? He was, I didn't like him. Just got that out there. He was a lacrosse player. Does that make, no? No, okay, so. Did I just offend a bunch of people? I didn't know this was a lacrosse crowd. I didn't realize, anyway. So, no, he was a teenage boy, that's fine. So after we broke her heart, I'll tell you how he did it. He showed up at our house the day after Christmas. They were gonna exchange gifts. So she gave him the gift card that I bought for her to give him. Am I the only one that's ever done that? He gave her nothing. 5 minutes later, he broke up with her, left with the gift card. My first question, did you get the gift card back? What? So, obviously in Indiana, it's illegal to kill people and stuff, so I had as my guitar. She was really catatonic for you know, a month or so. So I kept thinking she was like a ghost walking around. So I wrote this song and switched the gender, so I'm the singer. But it's called "How I Became a Ghost." So here it comes, the story of how I became a ghost. I saw her sitting all alone, so I offered up my name and then my reasons why. And she did me the same, we crossed the globe. Philadelphia to India, then home. I gave her my briefcase with the code. She said, your secret's safe with me, then sealed it with a kiss. And that's the last thing I remember. Oh, my Holy Ghost. She was something to believe in, till she had it all, and then the lights went out. That's how I became a ghost. She took a last look as she's leaving, as the saints were gathered round. Do you see it now? Yes, I see it now. She packed a gun. By this I mean I think she had a gun. Or maybe a bomb, given her sense of overkill. Yeah, bombs are better still for blowing things apart. A good weapon for the heartless soul. My Holy Ghost. She was something to believe in, till she had it all, and then the lights went out. That's how I became a ghost. She took a last look as she's leaving, as the saints were gathered round. Do you see it now? Yes, I see it now. Now I'm a ghost, and I see so much better than before. Down inside, where she knows she is beautiful no more. And she laughs like the past is dead and gone. But she is wrong. I'm not saying I'm right, just that she's wrong. The kind of girl you'd wish on your worst enemy. Yeah, guaranteed to please only she herself, like she's the flippin' queen of Sheba. Oh, my Holy Ghost. She was something to believe in, till she had it all, and then the lights went out. That's how I became a ghost. She took a last look as she's leaving, as the saints were gathered round. But do you see it now? Oh, do you see it now? Oh, yes, I see it now. Yes, I see it now. Now, it's not as edifying as killing someone, but it's a lot more legal, and I get to still walk around. So this song, this Bloomington song, I came here to sing you all. Proud to have been chosen to do. This project, the Bloomington Arts Commission, conceived this. There are actually 3 of the board members that conceived this here: Lynn Schwartzberg, Sally Gaskill, and Alan Barker, who had the guts to do this and the vision and foresight. They put out a call to kind of the way you do like for a sculpture project, which is kind of an odd thing from an artist standpoint to respond to. But I saw the ad in the paper, I think January last year maybe, that said, write the Bloomington song. It's a big article on the front page, picture of Hoagie there. And I discovered later, but not at the time, but discovered later, as I went back, I saved this a newspaper, that on the upper right corner of the newspaper front that day was a running subhead, little marker on the paper that said ride. Now, I don't know if that got into my head that day, but I saw this later when I went back, months and months later, just looked at the original paper, and there this thing was. I don't know if that got in. immediately when I saw this said, I can do this. And because I'd written kind of a bookend song about 20 years ago, right after I moved here, called Indiana. And it was a song about moving, I placed it back in 1820, but about somebody who was moving to get away kind of in growing factory life and industrial life in the Northeast and moved to Indiana. It was kind of a metaphor for my move out here. And I really like the idea of songs that kind of do these kind of things. And I was kind of thinking about how that was true of me too, just sort of getting away and getting to a place that was more open and a different kind of community. And so I kind of had practice doing this song about a place before. So I felt like I kind of did a little bit of an advantage. But when I wrote about this, I thought about the Bloomington, and just as you would do, you know, what is it about this place? And it's a remarkable place, really, when you kind of look at the things that have sprung up here. It makes no sense relative to everything else in our state. How did this happen here? Why is this here? This great university, the amazing people that have come from here, the amazing work. And, you know, to say that it's an incredibly fertile place I'm not the first, obviously, to say that. The people who named the town thought of that way before I did. You know, obviously this is something that people recognize, that there's something about this place that's special. What I love about it is that there's this really interesting tension, as Byron was mentioning before, between people who are sort of, you know, on the progressive side. I'm not going to call it the People's Republic of Bloomington, but it's, you know, it's moving sometimes in that direction. But then also a real value of tradition, which I find warming as a person of advancing age and somebody who raises a family and wants to be in a stable community, that there's always this tension between progress and tradition. A lot of places it's an unhealthy tradition. Something about Bloomington makes those things somehow in perfect tension with one another. I love that about this town. So I wanted to try and capture that in this song, and to capture the idea that here, for me anyway, and again, this could have been any artist chosen to write this, and thank you all so much for choosing me to do this. For me, I wanted this to be a song that anybody could climb into. And there were a lot of phenomena that I recognized about Bloomingtonians and Bloomington life. One of those is this bloomerang thing. People who are from here, they go, they come back. And it's just a very consistent story. But regardless, the people that come here that aren't from here, like me, you know, they feel drawn to this place. There's something really magical about it, something very productive about it. And that's where I came at this song. I wanted to write something that would be played by, that would be useful and usable by people to bring people together. And that was the concept that I put forward in my proposal, was to write a song. I, in fact, had a shell of the song at the time, to write a song that kids could learn in school, that was simple enough that it would, but also sophisticated enough for people who were music people, that there was enough subtlety and enough interest in there for people who are thinking about music on a higher level, that it worked on all these levels. Obviously, who knows if I succeeded at that or not, but that was what the aim was to create something that was a running storyline. And so I conceived this song about going out for a ride. You know, the bicyclists go by my house. We live way out on 45, and bicyclists come flying by there every day, and we watch this. And I always watch it with kind of curiosity. I'm not a cyclist, but I think a lot about it as the folks go by, and we have a nice porch. I can watch them and not be sweaty like them. But I watch them go by, and I think, there's something about this. There's something about this going for a ride. They're not going someplace, you know. And I thought, that's Bloomington, right? This is people who are doing what they're doing, and they're sometimes doing it with world importance, you know, people who are really making impacts on the globe, not just in our local community, but are doing it because this is the pace of life. This is a way of living. And I love that as a metaphor for the way we live in Bloomington, the people going about doing extraordinary things, but doing it in the course of life. And so that's what the ride is about. It's about, I wanted to contrast it with Indianapolis, the race town. They're on the way to the finish line, that Bloomington, life is not a race, it's a ride. So that's where the song begins. And I'm going to go ahead and share the song with you. And you're welcome. If there's singers in here, I don't want to like force you. I don't want to be that guy, that folk singer, and yet I've made a living being that guy at times. But if you want to, the chorus of the song, there's a chorus that goes, and so we ride, we don't race, and we wish this gift of grace for the world from our Bloomington home. So that's the chorus of the song, comes around a bunch of times. So I'm going to for the willing, if you want to do that with me, the first line is, and so we ride, we don't race. So ready to go with me? Yeah? Okay, here we go. And so we ride, we don't race. Okay, and the second line, and we wish this gift of grace. Ready? Here we go. And we wish this gift of grace. And the last line is, for the world from our Bloomington home. Okay? For the world from our Bloomington home. So one time all the way through it, right? And then I'll go and I'll play the song for you. And you can join in with me if you want to. Okay. And so we ride, we don't race, and we wish this gift of grace for the world from our Bloomington home. All right. So you guys are singers. This is awesome. I took a ride with the world at my side, through the hills and the fields and the skies, where the sun warms that part of my Bloomington heart, where I hold precious memories apart. It fills and I grow like higher things that flower in these hills of Monroe, with roots below and room enough to rise. Won't you come and ride with me through these Indiana streets, past the limestone, the hearth, and the home, where the families of today still remember yesterday. Yes, we always remember our way. And so we ride, we don't race, and we wish this gift of grace for the world from our Bloomington home. Remember when you chased the sun around until you finally reached the line? Your letter said, give me the comfort and the breeze of our Indiana ride. And so we ride, we don't race, and we wish this gift of grace for the world from our Bloomington home. One more. Yes, we ride, we don't race, and we wish this gift of grace for the world from our Bloomington home. Awesome. One fun to hear you guys doing that. I want to tell you a few things about what's happening with the song and how maybe you can help. I am happy to come to any and all gatherings of any sort, any kind of organizations, anything. I'm happy to come out, share the song with people, maybe teach the song out. I'm happy to come around. There are a lot of versions available. There's a website that we set up that links to the city website with all kinds of resources at bloomingtoncommunitysong.com. And if you just Google Bloomington Community Song, up it pops. And there are all kinds of versions. There's a marching band version. I know you've got a marching band hidden in your basement that you're wanting some material for. We've got the version, the score ready for it. Seriously, the scores for all kinds of choirs. There's several different choir scores. A score for orchestras, and in fact, the Bloomington Symphony Orchestra will be doing a big, lush version of this in the fall, in their fall program, fall show at the Buster Chumley. So there's all kinds of versions there. But if you're a home piano guitar player, there's sheet music there that you can just download and play along, learn the song. And lots of tutorials on video and so forth. There's also a big video that we did, kind of a rocked up version that we're hoping to get somebody at IU Athletics to get on their Jumbotrons with Jen Christie. You guys know who Jen Christie is? Wonderful singer. She was a former champion IU swimmer, amazing musician, and she takes the lead and sings it in this big old sort of Mellencampish rocked up version of the song. And there's a music video. It's all quite polished. And so if you have any ins to how we can get that into IU content, we certainly love any kind of help you can give us a push. Please see me. I've got some, my last CD, which is called 13 Questions. I've got versions, I've got copies to give out to anybody today, not sell anything, just happy to hand out. And I'm working on a new CD right now that'll be out in the summertime. But I'd love to take questions. What kind of are there any questions you all have about this project and how it went down, or the song, or anything like that? Happy to answer any questions. Yeah.
How long did it take you to flesh out the song? I mean, you had an idea when you proposed it?
Well, when I proposed it, I didn't have the idea, but when I read the article, I think I wrote it in 3 days. Like, I'm writing a song. So, I mean, it was about 3 days of a lot of work, because it's balancing a lot of kind of odd moving pieces. Because the danger with a song like this, right, is like you don't want to write a Visit Bloomington commercial, which is the real thing, right? Because it would be easy to do that, to start naming places and things, and sort of, suddenly, I'm walking you through the square. Or the same trouble we had with the video. How do you do that, right? How do you capture the thing and make it specific enough to the thing you think is beautiful about the place? So you know what I did? I studied, during those 3 days, I looked up all kinds of songs about place. Especially, there's a host of them about Indiana, as you know. Indiana is one of the most fruitful states for these famous songs about it, right? Back home in Indiana and so forth, Banks of the Wabash and everything. So I studied these songs really carefully, and how did they do that without starting to name, buildings and stuff? Yeah. Yeah.
What's the idea with offering all the sheet music in different variations? Was that something you knew when you wrote the song, that it would be adapted in this way?
No, so part of my proposal was to act as a project manager for this, and to sort of think up ways, and we had all kinds of people from the community come in and help and come up with ideas on how to do this. So the question is, how do you get schools engaged with it? Because schools are really the future of the song, right? If you can get kids singing it and get them learning it. So we've already done that. All the elementary schools used the song this year, and we had a big sort of release of that, a big event at City Hall where the kids came in, a couple hundred kids, and sang. It was very cute. It was like a cute fest. But it worked. But it was exactly what we're trying to do, right? So then the question is how to get the others, and so we wanted to get ensembles playing it, and then also community bands and things, like the community band's doing it, the barbershop that's going to be doing it, as I said, the BSO is going to be doing it. So by creating all these scores, it opens it up to people. And then I think there are plans in future years, I think there's been talk about plans in future years to kind of think of new ways to creatively engage with the song, including mixed media and all kinds of things that you could do to kind of make this an ongoing piece. And any help to that would be great. And then please come and see me if you have any ideas of places I can sing this or things we can do with the song. Great.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm sure Jeffrey will stick around for other questions if anybody has them, but want to get you guys out of here at a reasonable time. Just real quickly, Jeffrey, we make a contribution to the community kitchen on behalf of you being here today, so thank you again for that. Next week, we're going to have Tim Jessen talking about his Cuba trip, if I remember correctly. So that'll be interesting, and look forward to hearing from Tim. And then thought for the week: International Women's Day was March 8th. Here's to strong women. May we know them. May we be them. May we raise them. Here's to strong women. May we know them. May we be them. May we raise them. Now, please join me. Absolutely. Please join me in the four-way test +1 of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendship? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun? Have a great week.